Hello, my name's Carrie, and joining me tonight to talk to you is my colleague Amy. We'd like to welcome you to tonight's webinar all about options and opportunities available for your young person after they leave school. We're so pleased to have so many of you joining us. Amy and I are both careers advisors with Skills Development Scotland, or SDS as you might know us. SDS is the National Skills Agency for Scotland, and we deliver Scotland's career service. As a parent or carer, you have a key influence in your young person's life and decision making, and we're really looking forward to sharing some advice and resources with you tonight. This information will hopefully give you a good overview of the various options and opportunities for young people after school, and the role of a careers advisor to help prepare them and you for that transition. Tonight we'll give you information including useful websites as well as contact details should you wish to get in touch or find out more about any of our services. But please don't worry about taking notes of any of these. We'll send you all of these details in an information email after this session. Before we get started, I need to let you know that our session tonight is being recorded for anyone who can't make it along this evening, and it'll be available if you want to watch it again as well. The link to do that will also be sent out to you afterwards. We can't see or hear you, so if you'd like to ask any questions or make any comments, they'll be completely anonymous unless you put your name to them. If you do have a question or you would like to comment on any of the information you hear tonight, please use the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen and we'll try and answer as many of them as we can. If you have any specific questions relating to your young person, you should contact their school careers advisor directly, or they or you can get in touch with your nearest SDS centre. We'll tell you how to do this at the end of the session. So, who are we? Well, as I mentioned, we're Skills Development Scotland, or SDS. SDS is the National Skills Agency supporting the people and businesses of Scotland to develop and apply their skills. As part of this, we deliver Scotland's career service. Working with our partners, we aim to ensure that every individual has the skills and confidence to get a job and progress in the workplace, achieving their full potential. Our careers advisors are professionally qualified experts and are in every state secondary school in Scotland, as well as having a network of SDS centres, a free phone helpline, and we're the ones behind Scotland's career website, My World of Work. We'll give more details on all of this during the session. So how have we helped your young person in school? Well, career planning is an ongoing journey, and while they've been at school, we've worked with and encouraged your young person to explore all of their options, routes, and pathways. We start introducing careers to young people early on. This is to support them to feel confident in making informed choices later on, including at critical points such as option choices and when they find themselves at the end of their school journey. Our support doesn't stop at the school gates though. We have a network of SDS centres in every local authority area in Scotland for people of all ages to visit. And our expert advisors are there to help people at all stages of their careers. We can help with career choices and changes, developing and using their career management skills. We'll explain a wee bit more about those in a minute and why they're so important. We can also help with advice on creating CVs and interview preparation, information on apprenticeships, and help with redundancy situations. You can also access our support through our national free phone helpline and your careers website, My World of Work. All of this is with the aim of helping people make the best decisions at the right time, and we're here to support you both every step of the way. I'm going to hand you over to Amy now, who'll tell you a wee bit more about how we can help your young person take their first step after school.
Thanks, Carrie. There are jobs today that didn't even exist when your young person started school, and that will continue to be the case. In the future, we'll need loads more people working in STEM jobs. That's jobs that are linked to science, technology, engineering, and maths. Some examples of key sectors with growth opportunities are digital technology, so jobs like coder, designer, or robotics engineer, and energy and the environment. So that includes jobs such as chemical engineering, wind turbine technician, and microbiologist. You might also see these called green jobs as well. We get this labour market information about what jobs are in demand through working closely with local and national employers, industries, and partners, so you can be assured it's as accurate and as relevant as possible. We will help your young person navigate the new world of work and manage the now, as well as create their own future through making well informed decisions and taking action. We do this by supporting your young person to develop and understand their career management skills, and I'll explain a bit more about these now. Career management skills, or CMS as we often call them, are skills for life. Our careers advisors support young people to understand and develop their CMS. They are key skills to help people make and take ongoing career decisions as the world of work and learning changes. They come under four broad themes of self, strengths, horizons, and networks, and I'll go through them now and tell you a wee bit more about them. So, self is all about understanding what you like, your interests, your values, and what's important to you. Strengths is understanding what you're good at and how you're developing your skills, and also being able to further understand why it's important to know your skills and learn from different experiences. Horizons is all about understanding what routes, pathways, and options might be available. And networks is about understanding who can help you and how they can support your decision making and actions. By understanding and developing their career management skills, your young person will be encouraged to think about who they are and what they like to do. If young people feel confident that they have identified, developed, and can use their career management skills, then they will be much better equipped to explore and consider their career ideas and pathways. This will help them to take action to move their plans forward now and in the future. One of the ways to increase a young person's confidence in their decision making is to support them to know more about the different options. School is familiar. Your young person's been at school for years now, and we're beginning to ask them to think about things that might be new and different. It can be quite overwhelming and maybe a wee bit scary for them, as them and you, they might not know all the options that are out there, but can also be really exciting. We're going to go over some of the pathways available to school leavers and spend a bit of time going into through each one in more detail for you. Before we do that, we'd like to look at the different ways your young person can gain qualifications in Scotland. As you know, young people can get qualifications in school, but there are lots of ways for them to get them outside of school as well. On screen now is the Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework, which is a mouthful, but you'll also have heard it called the SCQF. The framework is an overview of all the qualifications you can gain in Scotland, starting from level 1 up to level 12. The SCQF highlights that you can gain the same level of qualification in different learning environments. For example, SCQF level 6 could be achieved by taking a higher at school, a national certificate in college, a foundation apprenticeship at school, or as a modern apprenticeship in the workplace. It also shows how you can begin learning in one environment and use that qualification to support you into another one. We know that there's quite a lot to take in here, so a link to this framework will be included in the information that we send out to you all after the session. Carrie and I would like to highlight a couple of examples of how this works in real life by talking through a bit about our career journeys and how we've taken two different routes but arrived at the same destination. I left school with, I think, 4 or 5 hires, so that's level 6, and went straight into uni where I did an English degree, got that at honours level, so that took me to level 10 from there, and left uni with no idea what I wanted to do next. Continued to work in the retail job I'd had as a student for a couple of years, and then eventually got a job as a personal advisor in the Careers Centre in Aberdeen. That's when I became aware that being a careers advisor was a thing and that you could train to do it. At which point I was lucky enough to be able to do the postgrad diploma that you need to do, which is level 11, and work full time as an advisor as alongside my studying. I really recommend this way of learning because it being able to sort of apply what you're learning from the academics into your work life is really helpful, and you can also benefit from the experience of your colleagues as well, make mistakes in a safe environment and really learn the job as you go along. I'll pass you over to Carrie now, who's going to tell us a wee bit about her story.
Thanks, Amy. So I became a careers advisor through the trainee route, which involved three different stages. Stage one, I worked on a modern apprenticeship qualification, which is the same level as a HNC, which is at a level 7. I then moved on to stage two, which was a work-based qualification at degree level. And then I moved on to a 2-year distance learning postgraduate degree at Edinburgh Napier University. All of this alongside my full-time job as a trainee careers advisor. This allowed me to work through my qualifications whilst gaining my real world work experience, which meant I had lots of support from the qualified careers advisors that I worked with, and I was able to gain experience myself, which made the transition to being qualified and now working in a school within schools a much easier step for me. So it also worked really well alongside my family life as well. So now I'm going to take you through some options that are available after school. And good news, there's a lot of options. Making and learning and career choices, it's not just one step, it's many steps, but please remember there is no wrong path. People can move between routes to support their progress, and for many careers, there's more than one route available to go into them. So let's explore these options in some more detail. So some young people might be considering staying on at school. If your young person is unsure about that and unsure if they want to stay on, it's important to assess what their timetable would look like and what they're going to get out of going back to school. There might be options within college or doing a foundation apprenticeship as part of their school timetable, as well as staying on as a school pupil and continuing with their subjects that they want to study within school. If your young person is undecided, they can always keep their options open and complete an options choice form for the following school year while exploring their other options like applying for college or getting a job or an apprenticeship. And they can get help with all of those things from their careers advisor. There are three types of Scottish apprenticeship developed by SCS in partnership with industry. These are foundation, modern and graduate apprenticeships. So I'll take you through them just now. So foundation apprenticeships, sometimes known as FAs, have been developed by SCS with industry and they're taken alongside other school subjects. They're available in 12 sectors, including accountancy, engineering, software development, and an FA can provide young people with industry insight and experience whilst gaining a work-based learning qualification, and it introduces them to the world of work earlier. FAs are available at SCQF level 6, which is the same level as a higher, and there are some being offered at SCQF level 4 and 5, which is equivalent to national 4 and 5 respectively. We've then got your modern apprenticeships or MAs, and they're all about getting a job, getting paid, and getting qualified. And they're a mix of academic learning and practical experience. There's over 80 different kinds of MA, and around 12,000 companies offer them, including many of Scotland's top employers, as well as large national companies. We've got small to medium-sized companies and family firms across Scotland also offer apprenticeships, and those can be for new or existing employees. You've then got your graduate apprenticeships or GAs, a slight theme there. The graduate apprenticeship is really similar to a modern apprenticeship in many ways, but GAs complete a degree while being paid to work in their related fields in areas such as cybersecurity, data science, or accounting. You can find out more about all of these types of apprenticeships, as well as a live vacancy search on our website, apprenticeships.scot. If your young person is keen to continue learning after school, then college can be a great first step. College, there is different levels of courses available, including those that need few or no qualifications to get onto. These can help prepare young people for work, modern and graduate apprenticeships and university. If your young person is thinking about college, there are some things to bear in mind. So they should research the course options. They can do that online using college websites and My World of Work. They can apply to more than one college, and some colleges do let you apply for more than one course at the same time. They can check how to apply and they can look for deadlines and key dates on individual college websites, and they're all slightly different, so it really is worth checking that. When they're choosing a course, they should remember to think about their career management skills. So, thinking about will they enjoy the course and what could it lead into? They can also find out about open days and virtual visits on college websites as well, which can really give them a feel for the course and the way of learning. They can also find out about the interview and selection process, and we can help with this as well. And there's a lot of information to help them prepare for interviews on My World of Work, including a course search tool. One of the progression routes after college is university, and of course, young people can also go straight to uni from school. At this time of year, most young people who will leave next summer and are interested in this route will currently be working on their university applications. If a young person doesn't apply in time but decides they would like to go to uni, they can still apply as a late applicant or through the UCAS's clearing. There is information about that on the UCAS website, and after their application's been considered, they'll start receiving their offers. If they're not getting the offers that they had expected, or they have lots of offers to decide between, they can always speak to their careers advisor in school. Routes into uni have changed a lot. Even if they haven't thought about uni as an option directly after school, they can progress after college or through opportunities with work, such as by doing a graduate apprenticeship. For more information about progression from college, you can check the college and uni websites. And as I mentioned, there's more information on graduate apprenticeships can be found on apprenticeships.scot. Universities now also offer widening access routes, so some have adjusted entry requirements for some underrepresented groups. So you can check their websites to find out more about that. Young people don't have to know exactly what they want to do at the end of their degree. Open days, virtual visits to universities can be a useful way to find out more. Their time at university is a chance to develop skills, interests, and get ideas about their future plans. Uni's not just a degree either, it's about all the other things they'll experience as a student. I'm now going to pass you over to Amy, who's going to talk through some more options with you.
Thanks, Carrie. Some of your young people might be keen to go straight from school into work. And some good places to start looking for jobs are the job search function on My World of Work, various recruitment websites, and your school careers advisor should be able to give you a list of those. You've got company websites, recruitment events that we're seeing a lot of these days, local press, and also on social media. We can support young people with creating CVs, finding jobs to apply for and doing the applications, and also preparing for their interviews as well. We often do mock interviews with pupils just to help them feel a bit more confident. It's important to bear in mind that whilst there are lots of jobs that are advertised, there's also a whole hidden job market of jobs that you don't see advertised. You can find these by handing in CVs, asking people you know if they are aware of any vacancies anywhere, getting in touch with companies directly to ask if they're hiring. Never hurts to get in touch with somebody. For you, as parents and carers, this could mean helping your young person by reaching out to your friends and other contacts to see if they have any available opportunities. But please don't worry if you feel that you don't have these networks, because this is something that we can help with as well. We can also give advice to anyone who's thinking about starting their own business and becoming self-employed. As careers advisors, we speak to a lot of young people every week, and we've noticed increasing numbers of them asking about becoming self-employed and what kind of support might be available if they decide to go down this route. There's a whole section on My World of Work about being your own boss, and this also signposts to other helpful organisations such as Business Gateway. Do bear in mind that a conversation about self-employment might also involve thinking about training or learning. So this step might come further down the line after they've gained more experience through studying or through working. Volunteering can be a great next step for young people as a way to develop skills, experience, and build their confidence. It can help them understand if that type of work is the right thing for them, and you can search for volunteering options on My World of Work, and our careers advisors can help them access these as well. The final option that we'd like to speak about is other training that's available. Um, there's loads of options for extra training that's available to help young people develop skills, get some experience, and build their confidence. And you and your young person can talk through these options with their SDS careers advisor, either in school or at one of our career centres, as they'll have the knowledge of all the local opportunities. These courses can help them build employability skills, they can help young people gain confidence and prepare them for work or further study. The types of training and the eligibility will vary locally, so it's best to speak to a careers advisor to find out what's available in your area. If your young person does leave school, and it does happen sometimes, without having a place in learning or a job lined up, there are Scottish Government initiatives, including the Young Person's Guarantee, that are there to help and support them with their next steps. You can use the opportunity finder on My World of Work to find out about more than 30,000 jobs, courses, apprenticeships, and formal volunteering options all in one place. So do make use of the website. We would always encourage young people to keep their options open and have a backup plan, because that will help keep them on course. They can apply to college and university and for apprenticeships and jobs and put in a course choice form for the next year of school if they can. We can do all of these things at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive, and it's always best to have a safety net because you can never be 100% sure about how things are going to work out. Ultimately, it's about your young person feeling confident about taking that first step outside of school, continuing to learn and develop new skills, and being able to navigate the changing world of work. We'd now like to share a short video introducing you to the support available through your careers website, My World of Work.
My World of Work is our career website and has information and advice to help people confidently make the best decisions for their future. It's packed with information such as industries offering opportunities in Scotland, making option choices, and the different routes into careers. On screen now, you can see the My World of Work homepage. If you're viewing the site on a mobile or tablet device, the pages may look a little different and you may need to scroll more, but all the content is the same. I want to highlight a couple of sections to support you and your young person at this stage. At the top, you will see My Career Options section. If you then click on Industries, you can then explore all 14 of them in more detail and the careers linked to them. If I go back to the My Career Options section and instead click on Explore Careers, this area gives detailed information on over 600 jobs, including what the role involves, the wages you could expect, with the subjects that might be needed, and how to get into them. Jobs cover everything from air traffic controller to zookeeper, and hundreds more in between. Exploring these jobs will help your young person consider a broad range of opportunities and give them information on the various routes available. Let's go back to the homepage. You can see there is a section called In School or Leaving School. This section has lots of great resources and support, including information on why and how to register in My World of Work, the tools available to help you understand your skills and interests, and relevant resources such as CV and application advice and interview advice. Further down this page, you will see there are links to what the options may be when leaving school. If you click on the Explore Uni or College courses, for example, you'll find useful advice for those considering these pathways and a link to our Learn and Train section, where you can find out about learning and training courses available throughout Scotland. Also in the In School or Leaving School section, there's a link to a School Leavers Toolkit. Here, you'll find lots of information and links to organisations to support school leavers when that time comes. Let's go back to the homepage. The last part I want to show you is the dedicated area for parents and carers. All of the content here is designed to help you and your young person with career conversations and making decisions. So that was a brief overview of the My World of Work website. I recommend that you and your young person take a look at it together at myworldofwork.co.uk.
So, how can you help your young people? You're a key part of their network, and we'd like to give you some top tips for helping your young person to think ahead and be prepared for when they leave school. Talk through all the options and encourage them to really consider the full range of opportunities available to them. Explore the information on My World of Work, attend college, university, and employer open days, and look at all the different websites because there's a lot of information available out there online. Support them to be positive about the future. They might be feeling a bit worried or scared about it, but it can be really exciting. There's lots of good opportunities for young people after school, so focus on the positives. And encourage them to have backup options. Remember that there's often many different ways to get to the same place, and none of these is better than the other. As parents and carers, you're also more than welcome to get in touch with us if you're worried about your young person and you'd like some help. We are always happy to hear from parents. We always follow up all school leavers to make sure that everyone's okay, that they have a plan in place, and just to catch anyone that maybe needs a wee bit more help from us. We do this by phoning, emailing, or texting leavers, and we'd ask for your help to encourage your young person to keep in touch with us. So we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight to find out more about Skills Development Scotland and what options are available for young people when they leave school and the kind of support that we can offer to help them get where they want to be. We hope that you found it helpful and that it's given you enough information to have these career conversations with your young person. And our fellow careers advisors have been quite busy in the background answering a lot of your questions, but they've also passed some on to Carrie and I to answer just now. So do keep sending them in as well. First one I've been passed through is asking if an S4 can apply for college after they've received their exam results. The short answer is yes. Most colleges will let students still apply after the exam results have come out or after the results from whatever they've been studying have come out. Even up until the course has started and past that date, sometimes they can apply. The risk in this lies that a lot of college courses are first come, first serve. So if your young person leaves it that late, they do kind of risk the course being full by the time they apply for it. What I would advise is that every college application will have a section where you can put in expected grades, so you can absolutely apply, even in S4 when you've never sat an exam or gained those kind of qualifications before, you can absolutely apply based on expected grades. So if your young person's even sort of considering going to college, encourage them to stick an application in, because it kind of secures that place for them and keeps the door open should they want it to be there. They can then decide when they get the results if they want to go or not. And if they decide, actually, I'm going to stay at school or do something else, no harm done. It just means that the option's been there. I think I will pass you over to Carrie now to answer some more of the questions we're being sent through.
Thanks, Amy. So I've got a question here, which is saying about how can young people be applying for uni when they don't know what their grades are yet? And that's a really good question. So different universities do have different entry requirements, and by applying to a range of universities, you can apply for up to 5 through UCAS. With a range of entry requirements, you're able to open up more opportunities. They should also be able to speak with their subject teachers about what their predicted grades are, and after they've done prelims, they might have a better idea of what they're aiming for and what they might need to work on. Also, when receiving offers from universities, these come through as either unconditional or conditional. So your unconditional is straight shot, you've got what they need, they're happy, they're offering you a place as is. Conditional, they might be looking for something from you. So that could be something like a specific subject or a specific grade or anything else that that goes with the course that you're applying for. We've also got a few questions about the young person's guarantee and support that's available after school. So in general, post-school career service is available across Scotland, and we're able to support people of all ages and stages, including school leavers, parents and carers as well, and everyone in between. There's also the young person's guarantee, which we mentioned earlier. So the young person's guarantee, that's a commitment in Scotland that brings together employers, partners and young people. The aim of that is to connect every 16 to 24-year-old in Scotland with an opportunity. So that opportunity could be a job, an apprenticeship, further or higher education, training or volunteering. It could also be an enterprise opportunity. And for more information on that, you can go to youngpersonsguarantee.scot. I have another, so there's been quite a few questions passed through that are about entry requirements for specific careers. Now, I would love to sit with you until midnight tonight telling you all the entry requirements for all these specific careers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a general way that you can find that information yourself. And if you're still stuck, you can speak to your school careers advisor. So on the My Worlds of Work website, you can find job profiles, and these highlight key skills and the entry requirements that you would need and the different routes that are available to get into those careers. There's also a course search tool where you can search using a keyword, which will bring up relevant course choices as well. Amy, we've got some more questions. They're flying in. Do you want to answer the next few?
Yes, thank you. I can see that we've had a really good question here about what kind of support is available for young people who have additional support needs to make sure that they can access learning and work after they've left school. Every college and university application form will have a section where they ask if there's any extra support that you might need, or that if you do have an additional support need. Make full use of that to kind of highlight any support that your young person might need when they're studying, and usually the university or college will then, when your young person has a place on the course, will contact them and have a chat with them just to make sure that when they start, any extra support that they might need or tweaks or adjustments they might need have been made for them to make sure that they can access the course fully. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't share that information. It does not affect their likeliness to get into a course in any way. It just makes sure that everything that they need to sort of have equal access to the course is there. It's kind of similar for work in that employers can be expected to make reasonable adjustments. It doesn't work exactly the same way as college or uni. So what we'll do is on the information that we send out after this session, we'll include a link to the area on My World of Work that really covers this, so you can find out more because it's quite in depth. Here is a question I get a lot in school, which is what funding is available when you're going to college or university? But it's not an entirely straightforward answer. In terms of tuition, if it's further education you're doing, so everything below, say, an HNC, then the college will provide tuition fees if you are eligible. If you're unsure if your young person might be eligible for tuition at college, contact the college that they're thinking of speaking to, of applying to. Their student advice people will know the ins and outs of the eligibility and they'll be able to advise you. Similarly with higher education, so everything from an HNC and up, you would contact the Student Awards Agency of Scotland, which is, or SAS as they're often called, and they'd be able to advise if your young person is entitled to tuition fees being paid. In terms of living costs, for further education, a lot of young people can apply for an educational maintenance allowance or an EMA. Some of you might have heard of those before. Pupils can get them if they stay on at school as well, and that extends to further education at college. So you could apply for one of those. Colleges may also have bursaries and things like that available to pupils, but they're means tested. So again, speak to the college for eligibility. SAS can, for higher education, can provide loans and bursaries to help with living costs. But again, I would encourage anyone who's unsure to speak to SAS or check out their website. They've got a really good website that answers a lot of these questions, explains a lot of the eligibility, and they also have a phone line with really helpful advice. I mean, I as a careers advisor ring them sometimes. They know their stuff, the advisors. They're really helpful. So I'd encourage anyone who's unsure to give them a ring. I've got another question I've picked up because it's a common question that my pupils ask me when they're feeling a wee bit anxious is what happens if you apply for a course and you don't get in? Does unfortunately happen sometimes to some pupils. If your young person's applied for college and they don't quite make the grades to get in when they get the results, I would advise phone the college first thing, because they offer so many different levels at college. They could say, if you've applied for a level 6 course, they could then say to the young person, okay, what we'll do is we'll move you into level 5 one instead in the same topic, and then you could progress to the next level up next year. They're pretty good about that. So I would contact the college first thing just to see if your young person can do that, make sure the courses aren't full, things like that. With university, you could also try contacting the uni and seeing if there's a bit of movement there. Or there'll be options through UCAS that they'll have used to apply for things like clearing, which is giving them a chance to see what courses out there still have spaces available. UCAS now targets clearing, so it kind of looks at what kind of things your young person's applied for and might suggest courses in the same kind of vein for them. We also run a results helpline starting first thing in the morning on results day and running for the 2 weeks afterwards, which either the pupils themselves or you are more than welcome to phone. We really encourage it. If you're unsure or if anybody's a bit upset because they've not got into a course and you just want to talk over the options, please give us a ring. It's available first thing in the morning till quite late in the evening for the first few days, and our advisors can talk you or your young person through all the different options that are available to them. And another one that a few people have asked is my work, which we've spoken about a lot, is it free and how do you register to use it? Yes, it's completely free, no part of it you have to pay for. And to register on the site, it's really easy. When you go on the home page, there's a white button on the top right hand screen that says register. Just click on that and pop in your details. It'll ask a bit about your kind of status, so you can say that you're registering as a parent or carer, and it will then start to target the information, so giving you the stuff that's most relevant to your role in a young person's life. I will now pass you back to Carrie, because I think we've got time for probably a couple more questions. So do you want to take a few, Carrie?
Yeah, thank you. So I've got a question here about what happens if your child starts university and doesn't like it. So it's so normal to worry about this. It's a big change for young people and also for their parents and carers as well. It's always worth speaking with the university, as there is a lot of support available, including student services and their personal tutor. Some courses are also more flexible than others, so there could be options to consider there. Your child might also need to consider what it is they don't like about uni. Is it something that could be changed? Like a small change can make a really big difference. For example, if it's their living situation that is affecting their enjoyment of the course, if they're staying in halls or something and just not liking it, could they live at home and commute into uni? If they're really not enjoying the course, then they're not tied into staying, and I would hate for anybody to be sitting in something that they're not happy in. So if they drop out before December, then it's considered a false start. And if they don't make that cut off, then it would what's the word? There's a gift year available, which means because you get up to 5 years of undergraduate funding, and with the gift with the cut-off date of the false start, if you get in before that, then you don't lose any of your funding either. There's always other options. They should contact their local careers centre. They might still have contact details for their school advisor. If not, you can get in touch with your local careers centre and can look into what opportunity would be the right fit for them at that point. We've had a few questions about helping young people with CVs and also a few about applying for jobs, so I'm going to bundle those in together. So a great place to start would be on My World of Work, as there's some really great resources on there, including a CV builder, which is it's a great way for getting started even, because there's nothing worse than staring at a blank page and trying to figure out what to write on it. Your child should have had some input with My World of Work in school, and they might have completed some tools and quizzes which actually feed into the CV, making the process a little bit easier. Don't worry if they haven't, because you guys can do that together at home as well. It's always important to adapt and change your CV based on what you're applying for. So look at the job description and see what you need to draw attention to. Careers advisors can help with that as well. There's also a job search function on My World of Work as well, which you can filter based on keywords and postcode or town to bring up relevant job adverts. I've got one here about a parent asking about their young person not being motivated to do anything and what can they do to support. So it's such a big transition to move from school that they've known for years into something else that can feel quite unknown, it can feel quite scary, and different people deal with that different ways. Some of them might shut down a bit, some of them just might find it really difficult to think of what the next thing is. So the most important thing that you can do is be there and listen, and you know, we can always have careers appointments with them as well. I've had parents come in for careers appointments as well, where we've been able to have a kind of good open discussion all together. And it's been really helpful and productive. I'm just going to have a wee look here. And we've got a few questions about hires in college as well. And some colleges do offer where you can do hires. If you just do it on its own, it sometimes has a charge attached to it, but there are courses where you can do it'll be at like SCQF level 6, and sometimes those are like access to HNCs, Ds and degrees. I know that's one of the ones in Fife College's website, which is my local college, but it's worth checking in your ones as well, because they'll say individually what you can study in that. So I think that might be enough as the amount of questions that we have time for this evening. Like I say, we have had our other careers advisors in the background answering your questions. Hopefully you'll have got an answer, but don't worry if you haven't yet. We want to reassure you that there is ongoing support, information, advice and guidance available for both your young person and you at any time. Please remember that all the information, websites, resources and links that we've spoken about tonight will be detailed in the information guide that we're going to send out to you after this session, and that will include a list of the frequently asked questions and answer details to you. Thank you so much for listening. You'll see on the screen just now the various ways that you can keep up to date with what we're doing and how to get in touch for more information and support. So you can visit your career website, My World of Work, at myworldofwork.co.uk. You can find your nearest SDS centre at myworldofwork.co.uk/centres. You can call us on 0800 917 8000, and that's Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 5 PM. Join us on Facebook by searching My World of Work, or over on Twitter, which is at MyWowScotland. Please don't worry if you can't take down those details. Like I say, they will be included in the information email we will send out after this session, and that includes a link to watch this session again, should you wish to. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and join us this evening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night. Thank you. Bye.